So whenever any question is being asked, I will want each and every one of us to try as much as possible to respond based on what we understand. And I want you to understand something. Like I said earlier, there's no right or wrong answer. All response, they are all opinion. Even the so-called right answer that we might consider to be right answer in this class, that is what I said it should be, it's also an opinion. Because if you further think over and over and over again, you're going to see another way of saying what I said. So if you have another way of saying what I said, that simply means that what I said is basically an opinion. So we've read a lot of books, and we have reshuffled those books, we have rewrite them in our own way because of the understanding that we get from the book. So that does not make the author wrong about what they said, but that validates their opinion because we are able to use this to give birth to our own opinion. So having said that, another thing I want you to maximize in this class before we commence is ability to make it more effective. That is, to get best of this particular class. There's one secret to my learning, is that whenever somebody is teaching me something, in order for me to get the best of that thing and understand it very well, I will assume that I need to teach somebody else. So once you assume that you need to teach somebody else, you tend to pay extra point of attention. And I don't know how God does that. You are going to do what? Understand that thing better than when you are just learning it as a student. So what I'm saying in essence is that everybody should activate their teacher mode and know that at the end of this session, you have a bunch of students that you also want to teach the same thing. Do you get where I'm coming from? So you get to understand that there's no way you can use my word for word in taking your students. You have to use your own words. And there's no way your own words will be coherent if you did not understand what I've been saying correctly. So that means we need a maximum attention and that teacher mode that, oh, I have to teach somebody this. And not just to teach the person. I should be able to explain to this person just like I will do for 5 years old. Like what Albert Einstein said, and it's always my go-to whenever I'm going to class like this. You know, he said, if you cannot explain it for a 5-year-old to understand, it means you have not understand it enough. So there's nothing like, this thing is ambiguous for me to explain. Or I can't explain it better than this. What it simply means is that you have not understand it enough. So we don't want all of that to happen here. And if you ask me, why are we trying to prevent that from happening? I'll tell you. It's because aside from using this class for yourself, because you are the very first person that you are going to use this class for before you can now translate it to your friend or to your client. It's because you are the very first person to use it. And when you are using it for your clients, it's another thing. If you are not fluent enough, if you don't sound convinced with what you want to teach, nobody's going to buy into your idea. Do you get where I'm coming from? And when I say you have to be convinced about what you want to say, I don't mean that you should just be speaking vocabulary, big grammars, throwing registers left and right. When we talk about brand strategy, it has to do with what? Branding, marketing. You don't want to talk about all of those ambiguous kind of registers that we use in brand. You don't want to use that for your clients. Because from my experience in working with global brands and also working as a freelance and at the same time trying to build a business. So that means if you are thinking of the 3 areas that you might want to be, as far as your skill is concerned or your idea is concerned or the kind of experience you want somebody to be, I think I've been there. I have been employed by a global brand and I've resigned. and I have been employed by a local brand, and I've resigned internationally, and I've worked for myself, and right now I'm building a business. So by default, I have probably like journeyed the whole of the three areas that you might want to talk of. I've been employed, I've employed somebody, I've stayed unemployed and not employing somebody. I've tested those three areas. So everything still boils down to what you understand. So when you are talking to somebody, you don't want to talk to that person like you went to go and read a book. Do you get where I'm coming from? Some of us, I've done interview a lot. I remember when I was talking to Oluwa Fisayo, our motion designer at Fixacad. When I was chatting with him, because I don't ask for portfolio. That's how crazy we are in Fixacad. If you are going to work or join our team, we don't ask for your portfolio because we don't care about that. But we tend to have a lengthy conversation. And when we are having the conversation, the whole of the response he was giving to me shows that this person is just cramming the whole of the thing he has been learning in groups. Do you get where I'm coming from? But I already see what I want from him, just even before I even reach out to him. So I don't really care about the response he's giving to me. And that is one thing that a lot of business owners don't really understand. We always think is that it's about what we say. It's not about what you say. That's just the simple truth you need to understand. If they are going to buy you, there are a couple of things they've seen in you. And if they are not going to buy you, they already see what they want to see. So it's not about what you say. And that's the reason why you just have to be yourself as much as possible. There's no right answer or wrong answer in an interview. Do you get where I'm coming from? But you must what? You must be able to touch what the interviewer is looking out for. So when he was responding, and I'm a crazy questionnaire, I know how to ask questions a lot. So and the more I ask him question, the more he gets stuck, and the more I get to see that okay, all these answers are not coming from a place of understanding. They are only coming from a place of knowing. This is what I heard industry experts saying that we should say whenever they ask us this. When somebody asks you what you are doing, and you're like, you can use motion graphics to boost their business. I don't see how that can happen. That's just the simple truth. And the likes. I believe you have been told the same thing because I was told the same thing, and I later find out that those things are not it. And I think a day before yesterday, I sent a video to our top designer at Fixacad, and when I sent the videos to him, I'm surprised that he doesn't understand what I want him to look out for in that video. What was in that video was that it's what was it called? It's a video that has to do with people that went to pitch their businesses in order for them to get grants. So when this guy came in, the guy started with a full understanding of what you are going to read to be a business inside the book. Business always succeed inside the book. I must tell you the truth. If you take a book of business and they tell you that do this, do that, it's what? At the end of the day, you see that it's going to bring profit. But if you try that in the real life, you die before the profit. Do you get where I'm coming from now? That is, you are going to run into debt before you even think of making profit. Because what is inside the book is different from what is in the real life. So what do I want to bring out from this guy was that the whole of the thing the guy said, it makes sense until they started to ask him questions before he realized how foolish he is. And that's the same thing that happens to designers. There are three types of yes, and you always listen to the bad one on a daily basis. And that's why you be like, this client come from hell, this client does not get back to me. There are some yes that I just tell you so that you can live my life in order for me to rest. Do you get where I'm coming from? And there are some yes that I am going to tell you, and even you yourself will know that this yes is sarcasm, and there's only one yes that is actually yes, and that's the yes that makes them write you a check. But you can never get a yes that will make them write you a check if you are not coming from a place of understanding. Do you get where I'm coming from? So that's why I'm begging us not to cram anything. and understand everything such that you can say it in different ways. And why you also need to is that you see the way you are going to talk to me that I will understand is different from the way you are going to talk to any member of this group that they are going to understand. That simply means that if you have 10 customers, you have to learn 10 different ways to talk to them. But all of these things does not come at a time. There is need for essential skill to be in place in order for you to what? To be able to do these things successfully. And that's the reason why we are having this particular session now, in order for us to like start the proper journey the way it's supposed to be. Many of us have been in design for years, even before myself, because if I'm not mistaken, approximately maybe this year I'm going to be 6 to 7 years in this design industry. Though I've been in the business of design for more than a decade, but being a designer maybe 6 to 7 years. But that doesn't count. It depends on what you block your time to do. So if you have listened to the voice note that I dropped on the group, I was talking about time block. Why do I ask you to time block this? A lot of people, whenever I'm talking to my team, especially the lead designer, I'll say, you're reading a book that is making you poor. And I want us to note that a lot of us read books that make us remain poor. And when I say poor, I'm not talking about your bank balance. Do you get where I'm coming from? But I'm talking about the kind of value that you carry. So there are some books, they will sound so interesting, but the kind of value that you are carrying from those books, they are value that is just meant for your own discipline. They are not value that can translate to what will make somebody bring out money from their pocket and then give it to you. So that's why whenever I want to talk about productivity, I talk about time block. You see, right now, Fixacad thought, this is the thought of Fixacad, that designers need to see themselves as a business if and only they want to make money and they want to make impact. Because I'll tell you sincerely, if you are not a business, you are a freelance designer, and you claim that you want to impact in business, I'm sorry to say this, you are only deceiving yourself and your clients, but you are deceiving yourself more. You just need money. Because if you really want to touch life, then there is a name that you don't want that name to spoil. Not a freelance name, but a business. That what you have invested in that business, you are afraid of losing it, and you are going to do the right thing. Do you get where I'm coming from? Your contract is going to sound like a contract that you wrote in order to protect your clients, not the one to protect yourself. So all of these things are the reason why we are here together, so that we can find solution to these things together. And I want to believe that every one of us are here to do that together. Is that so? I'm asking now.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Abdurrahim. Gideon mic is on, but he doesn't want to respond. Uh,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
all right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
boss.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Yes,
boss.
sir.
Yes,
Okay,
boss.
thank you.
Thank you. Now let's get
Yes, sir. We have
started. Let's get started. You see, when you start a business, whenever people reach out to me that they have an idea and they want to start a business, they want me to create a logo for them. So I don't have a rate card. I charge very expensive for logo, and at the same time I charge ridiculously. And that's this it here. Sometimes I charge for logo 5,000 naira, and I'm very very sure Mark cannot collect that kind of money. It's not going to do that job. I still know some people here who cannot collect that kind of money, but I collect such amount. At the same time, I design logo that I charge minimum of $3,000, $4,000. I've designed a logo of $20,000. I know Mark cannot charge that as well. So, what's the difference between me and Mark? Mark cannot charge that very high amount of money, and at the same time, he cannot charge that very low amount of money. So Mark will always be in between. And that's the same thing that is happening to virtually everybody here. You don't have that guts to collect that huge amount. And you are so insecure to take that poor amount. Why? The simple answer I can give to you is because you are not a business. You are insecure because of what the industry experts are saying. You know, if you say you design a logo for 5,000 and you are in a group like NGD, they will drag your life. And you'll be the poor designer in the house. Do you get where I'm coming from? Even if those things foot your bills. So that's the only reason why some designers cannot charge very minimum amount. But at the same time, you don't have what it takes to command huge amount of price. So what's happened? You are in between. And that will not work. I'm a person that whenever I'm working with you, I don't do 50-50. I remember when I was negotiating salary with our top designer at Fixacad, that is the person of Hebron, and there was a day we are negotiating increment of salary, and I told him, so at this point in time, I was whining, I was playing with his brain, and he gets to a point, he tells me, I say, sir, can we meet at the middle? And I say, yes, bingo. That's the craziest thing that you should never do in your life. Never meet anybody at the middle. It's either you lose or you win. Don't meet at the middle. It's a dangerous place to meet anybody. Do you get where I'm coming from now? Don't meet them at the middle. It's either you. So that's why there are a couple of things that we want to cover in this class. Though 2 weeks is not going to be enough, but 2 weeks is enough for the foundation that we want to lay. Now, what should you do as a business? As a business, you need to communicate clearly. A lot of businesses that you see out there, they don't communicate clearly. So, same thing goes to you. And I was also like that yesterday. You know, I call myself a freelance designer. And all of a sudden, I have a brand name. So what's freelancing there? If you are a freelance, it should remain your name. You shouldn't have a brand name. I don't know if you get where I'm coming from now. So, and we have Mark here, who is a freelance designer, but he has what? He has a brand name. We have Hebron here, who is a freelance designer before, and he also has a brand name. And I'm very sure that Gideon will also have a brand name and is going to claim a freelance designer. So something is wrong somewhere. Absolutely. And that's it. That was me yesterday. So I'm not communicating clearly. So I sometimes tell somebody that I'm a freelance. And when the person starts communicating with me, they perceive me as a business. Now they are confused. So when I want to state bill, I stated my bill like I want to pay house rent, and if I can collect this particular amount of money, the house rent will be paid. Now, problems start. I've confused them in 3 different ways. And you know the crazy things that will make client price you anyhow, and they will not care to lose you, is when you are not coherent. And that's the reason why 75% of brands that exist out there, they are not in any way relevant to people. So, if you ask me, why do I say that? I'm very sure I'm not sharing my screen right now, but I'll do that. If you can see it, you just let me know that you can see my screen.
I can see your screen.
All right, thank you. So, like I said earlier, 75%.
You can see your screen.
Thank you so much. If I have a circle now, and I divide this circle into 4, so that means if 75% of brands are irrelevant, that means 3 portions of this circle doesn't count. People don't care. Why is it like that? You know, when you are talking to your mates, in the industry, you call yourself a brand, isn't it? And I think within 2 weeks ago, or let me say within last week and this week, that we have issue between Very Dark Man and Nedu. We have the word brand used than ever before in Nigeria. Do you guys observe that? Or you're just watching their battle and you're laughing?
Yes, I've observed that.
You observe that, right? Thank you. We have the word brand
Yes,
has been used very frequently than ever before in Nigeria. You hear that he wants to spoil my brand, he's using my platform, it's my brand that he wants to use to promote his own brand, and so on like that. And I keep on asking myself that what do these people understand that they call brand? But in a nutshell, what it simply means is that everybody is not communicating the right way. So when there is a problem with communication, there is a problem with brand. Because brand is simply about communication. It is what you communicate, what you stand for. So 75% of brands out there, they are not relevant. There are a couple of brands that they fold up, and before you even realize that they never exist again, maybe after 5 years. Some after 10 years. Some you don't even remember that they even exist before. So what's happening? The problem that is happening is the same thing that is affecting you, the same thing that is affecting me. And the only way we can save ourselves is that irrespective of the kind of brand that we are building, irrespective of the kind of brand that we are building, either it is a product brand, either it is a service brand, or a choice brand, either of this, no matter how much of it that you do, you have to communicate clearly. If you can communicate clearly and you stand for one thing, then you can become relevant. If you fold up tomorrow, people should be able to tell that this brand does not exist again. Now, everybody knows about Apple. I think that's one of the favorite brand for designers, even if majority of them are not using iPhone. Am I right? I am not using iPhone. Not because you are broke or anything. You might not like the product. But I'm very sure if any brand wants to make reference, any designer...
me, I don't like.
Yeah. If any designer wants to make a reference about a successful brand out there, majority of us will definitely mention Apple, isn't it? Well, yeah, it is. The owner of Apple, that is the founder of Apple, the person of Steve Jobs, because of what? Poor communication, when he left Apple, at some point, he went to establish a company called Nexus. The day and night that Nexus fold up, nobody knows. Nobody cares. Are you getting where I'm coming from? That's to tell you that I can build a brand that will fold up tomorrow and people will not know. You can build a brand that will fold up tomorrow that people will not know. And that's how they come up with the 75% of brand that is irrelevant. What am I saying in essence? Is that when Steve Jobs, when he founded Nexus, and we are still going to come to that when we get to logo design, because there are a couple of things we want to correct in that aspect as well. When he founded that company, there's nothing like what they want to communicate. He only founded that company in order for the company to be a rival to Apple. But he was forgetting that Apple stands for something. Apple is trying to communicate something, but Nexus is not trying to communicate something. And that's why at some point, Nexus gets bought by, what's the name of this, I forgot the name of the two companies that bought them, before Disney also joined hand with the company that bought Nexus, before they finally close it down and sell part of it to Apple. But what am I saying in essence is that Nexus get folded up and nobody noticed, nobody feel it, just because that company failed to stand for something. Despite the beautiful architecture that they have, despite that the logo was designed by the top best logo designer at that time, that is Porand. They need to pay IBM for them to release Porand to design Nexus logo. Why do Steve Jobs decided to work with Porand in designing Nexus logo is nothing but because he wants the best to do the work. And that's the same thing that happens when businesses come to meet you and pay you huge amount of money to design a logo for them, and at the end of the day, your logo will not even see the billboard. Not to now become a logo that stand the test of time. So what's happening? It's not about the beautiful design that you've created that will make that brand become relevant, but about what you communicate. So like I was saying, when you are talking about brands, you can either run 3 types of brand. It's either you run a product brand, or a service brand, or a choice brand. Irrespective of the one that you are running, you must communicate clearly. And what is that thing that will enable you to communicate clearly? What will enable you to communicate clearly is what we call branding. Are you getting this now? So when they say branding, what your literal customers understand is that branding is when I have a very good looking logo. Branding is when my color palette is very making sense. Branding is if I have my own typography, and the list goes on. But the fact is that all of those things are not branding. And that's the reason why when designer says that I'm doing branding, I always look at them, and within myself I'll be like, you're the brander. You get where I'm coming from? Because you're not actually branding anything. You're just hired to help them put pixels together. That's what they hire you for. You're not doing anything branding. Because number one, after you design that logo and you commission the logo, you are no longer relevant to that business. You are not the one that shaped the kind of copy that they use. You don't shape the kind of marketing that they do. You don't shape the way they talk to their audience, and the list goes on. And you say you are doing branding. You are not. And that's the reason why I want everyone here to know today that when they say branding, logo is not branding. It's not it at all. Logo is not branding. And you can quote me wrong. I don't know the numbers of books you've read. I'm a teacher, and the only thing I just do is to get more information that will make my students not to be part of the mediocres. And what's that? Is that all the best logo in the life that you have referenced to be a logo that satisfies the test of time, that you reference to be a good logo, that you reference to be a simple logo, there's no meaning behind any of them. There's no meaning. They don't have any meaning. However, when you see those logos today, there's something that comes to your mind. There's something you attribute to that particular logo. That even the designer that designed it does not think that that logo represents that thing. That's it. That's where we are driving at. Because a logo is a touch point, and we are going to get there. But what I'm saying in essence is just for you to know that designing a logo, putting color palettes together for brands does not make you what? Does not make you involved or doing branding. So if you have gotten this right, if you look at Apple logo, what makes them name Apple? It's nothing than the person that enslaved Steve Jobs and his friend. He owns a very... They use their brain because of what they believe, and they are doing farmer for somebody, and the person is reaping the money. That's where they got the name of the company that they started from. And when they are designing the logo, they want the logo to be as simple as the name of the company. There's nothing much. So they are not thinking that, oh, let this one be, this phone is going to be byte. I'm not even sure if they understand anything like kilobyte or megabyte as at the time that they found the company. So the bytes in this thing represents bytes. You are the one that bytes it, that makes it to be bytes. The person that designed it does not thought like that. They just want something that will represent it. And that's why your logo will always be a container. So, and I've always been saying it in my classes, that when you have a container, the value that a container will have, it has to do with what you fill the container with. If I give you two good looking, let me say I give you a very good looking Milo can, and the second can is very rusty. So look at it. We have a clean Milo can. This is a clean Milo can. A clean one, Milo can. and we have what? A rusty one here, a rusty Milo can. And you see these two on the floor. You know, you by default kick this one, especially if you are stupid as me. The way I do things, I do some crazy things. So you can kick this one and be like, get away. And you carry the what? The clean one. Or if you are as decent as Ebron, you just what? You just look away from this one and carry this one gently. But by the time you carry this one and you open it and it's empty, then you drop it gently or you drop it as fast as possible, and then you carry the rusty one and you see that it was very sealed and clean, and when you open it you find Milo inside it. Which one are you going to take care of? You can unmute your mic and tell me.
The rusty one.
You see, that's just it. So by default now, you don't know, it even be a reflex. It's not going to be that it's something you prepare for. By the time you open the rusty one and you find Milo inside it, reflex will just make you kick the new one that is empty. You know, you just kick it away. And that's how businesses are being kicked away by their audience. Because when they see them from outside, the perception is that they are going to get something good. But when they patronize them, it's another thing entirely. And they just push them aside. They don't want to move close to them again. Do you get where I'm coming from? And that's what we are seeing online today with Honest Bunch podcast. You know, the whole of the audience who are looking at it from far, they want to go there. But the ones that have been there, they don't pray to go back there. Do you get where I'm coming from? Only that they didn't come outside to come and tell you people of what their experience looks like until they drag you past them. So, what am I saying in essence is that your logo is a container. It is whatever you fill it with that determines what is going to appear like. But there's no way you are going to fill it with the proper thing if you don't understand what branding simply means. So if we say branding is not a logo, then branding is what? Basically, branding is what? Is being true to yourself. You have to be truthful to yourself. Tell me, Oga, you won't come make money, abi you won't come make impact. No life for us. I'm only here to make impact. You know, I don't need your money. Okay, no problem. You sure, bros? If you need money, talk now. No, we just want to touch life. We want to make impact. But when bros fuck up, what will happen? We get to know that bros actually need money. And that's what is happening. You see, we have a very good case study on ground that we can use to sample the error that is going within the field. So, you know, honest bunks, we all think that they are here to educate us until we understand that the whole of the audience they are bringing to the platform is for us to what? It's just for clickbait. And when we get to know that what happened, the architect of it get resigned. And that is what happened to brands. When you are not being truthful to yourself, that is what is going to happen. But tell me, if you are truthful to yourself, Organa your money and one chop, leave impact. We already know from onset. And that does not stop us from buying. As long as it communicates to us in the way we are going to buy, we are still going to buy it. And that's why I wonder what people are buying from Terry G when he was still alive. He's still alive. I mean, when it was still raining. You know, when somebody play music and be like, are they crazy? Are they crazy? Are they crazy? And you went there to go and buy it. You see, because he's being truthful, he doesn't tell you that he wants to educate you with his music. And that's why you can open your eye and your brain and go and buy music that they are swearing for you already. You know, the owner of the music is saying is that by the time you want to repeat it, you also tell yourself that and you are not crazy. But because the person is being truthful, you are willing to drop your money and buy. That is branding. You have to be truthful for whatever you stand for. Don't deceive people. You know, we want to educate people. Well, no. And the funny thing that people don't understand is that whatever you stand for, as long as you are being truthful with it, you will make money. Sincerely, you will make money. There's room for everything to sell. If you are the type that you know that you want to be dirty, you don't want to be decent, you just want to be like this, don't worry, you will make money. Very Dark Man is there. It's not touch enough. He's always with cigarettes, with pure water. He doesn't fancy anything. I'm very sure he's not going to hire Ebron to come and do his, what is it called? Come and edit his video for him. He doesn't care. I'm not sure if he even use CapCut. Just camera it and put it out like that. Nothing fancy about it. I'm here for what? For straight talk. Drag me, I drag you. Are you not watching this?
Baba is just there for dragging. He doesn't care about the video.
You get where I'm coming from? Are you guys not watching his content? You're not watching his content. That's being truthful. That's branding. If you're not truthful, there's nothing branding in what you are doing. So that's the very first thing that brand simply means. When I say branding, branding means be truthful to yourself. What you say you stand for, let it be what you stand for. Don't let us misconcept you with something else. You know, there was a time that a lot of people will be like, oh, if you want to blow, you have to get posted on Tunde Not. It's helping a lot of people. Until we get to realize that it does not have a content that it is own. It's you people content that he's using. However, the fact that he has large numbers of people, you people are, and he does not deny it, he does not argue it, he tells you that's what he wants, and that's why people are still tagging him today to post them. In a simple way, you want to do branding? No, just be truthful. But how many of your clients that you have worked with, even you yourself, are you truthful to yourself? I'm a logo design specialist. That's what I based on. Leave him. He go do flyer. No worry. Leave him. By the time logo is not forthcoming, you see him designing flyer. That's it. It means you are not even truthful to yourself. We just want to have to pay bills. Why can't you wait till the time that logo client is going to come? Not being truthful is a bad branding. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So branding is coherent promise. Branding is what? Coherent promise. Branding is not logo, but it is what? It is being truthful to oneself. Secondly, it is coherent promise. Did you promise them? Yes, this is what I promised them. Don't shake on that promise, irrespective of what might take you. If you say that, don't worry, satisfaction is what you are going to meet here. That satisfaction can come in a very long way that you might not be able to take. The satisfaction of a client can be to frustrate you, but you're not giving room for them to frustrate you. What happened? You back away from your promise. You see where I'm coming from now? The only way that clients can satisfy is if these are frustrated. Now, they want to frustrate you, you did not agree, you block them. What's the satisfaction you gave to them? So, I'm just giving you like a glaring thing that is missing in our branding. Do you know a situation whereby sometimes my wife gets angry that I'm always on my phone and I'm responding to people. It's like I'm responding to people that have promised that either you pay for mentorship or not mentorship. I will answer your questions or whatever you bring as long as it comes into my DM. And I can tell you categorically well, I'm one of the, like when I see somebody is busy, I'm damn busy. Seriously, I don't get to sleep well, but it's a promise I've made. I have to keep to that promise. I don't have to fail. That's branding. If Fixacad has promised you that this class is going to be 2 weeks free, then we should not ask you for money on it when you're already going because you've enjoyed it. You're not like, oh, if you want to come for master class, you have to pay for this particular amount. That's been lie. That's not the promise. You say you are going to give us everything in this class for free for 2 weeks. Why are you postponing or pushing us to masterclass now? That's not keeping to promise. So, branding is whatever you promise them, you must stick to it. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So, promise, sticking to it is a key when it comes to branding. That is branding. When you see a brand that, I don't know why designers don't look at it until they tell them. Look at the pressure that Samsung has put on iPhone for years. They've put a lot of pressure on them. You buy iPhone 15 and you buy iPhone 16 and you're asking yourself, what is different between them? You're asking, what is different? But by the time you buy Samsung S22 Ultra and you're buying 23 Ultra, you see large difference within their functions and what they do. And that does not make Apple change whatever promise. We don't promise that we are going to be upgrading our system all the time and give you. What we promise you is that simplicity. And you always find their app simple. It's the only phone that they made for people without thumb. Because if you are going to switch on your phone, you need a turn. But Apple say, don't worry, as long as your phone is charged, it's going to on itself. Our phone no dey kill themselves. And it's the only phone without a power switch. So they keep to their promise. Pressure of the society does not push them to digress and do something else. This is what is raining now. We also have to do it too. No, they stick to what they promise you, and their customers keep buying. That's it. That's branding. Branding is personality. So when you say branding, it is what? It is personality. What's your personality? When we see you, should we think of being creative or we think of being foolish? He said, just choose the one you want. Don't let anybody fool you that it has to be decorate like this before you can make it. No. Choose the one you want. A lot of you that is making sense online, you don't have much followers like Cyberbug. I'm very sure it has followers than a lot of us here, and we make sense that now she choose to be foolish and she stick to it. That's her personality. You see, you have a lot of definitions out there that has already given you a clear explanation of what branding simply means. You don't want to continue sticking to the definition in the textbook because they won't help you to help your clients. You see, everybody think that until you be a good boy before the society can buy us. Don't worry, you just choose the one that pleases you, the one you can do conveniently. Say you want to be a bad boy, don't worry, you get respect. Or you see somebody with style saying sir for somebody that is smoking, you understand what is going to happen if he does not say the sir. And the Amupa does not want any office life. He choose what is okay for him, and he's gaining the respect and gaining the money he wants. So personality is branding. You have to choose it. And don't digress away from it. Don't change your personality. Let it remain what it is. So that's it. Branding is knowing how to fit in, at the same time stand out. Who know Don Aza here? Donaza. Thank you. Tesla. Don't just change this to Elon Musk so that will make it easier. I will be bearing the name of the car. So it's fine. Thank you that you know him. And I'm surprised that he's the only one who know him in this class. However, he's a very good comedian that he wants to follow. He's a very good example of fitting in and standing out. If you go on Instagram and you Google and you search for his name, Don Aza, or you go on YouTube and search for his page or Twitter and the likes, you get to find this guy. The same way VDM and other comedians or other content creators, the same way they always set their ring lights is the same way he always send his ring lights. It's going to make you laugh and make you feel like a student when he's analyzing the crazy things that is going on the internet. That's a very good example of fitting in and standing out. You want to laugh? Come and laugh. But I stand out, by the time you are going, you get educated. That's fitting in and standing out at the same time. That is branding. Branding is not standing out. When you promise your client that I will make you stand out, when you stand out, you are foolish if you are not fitting in. Let me give you a very good instance. You will understand that when you just stand out without fitting in, you are going to look stupid. Let's go to party. Have you seen that Owambe party where they choose Ankara? That Ankara is not expensive. It's just 4,000 naira for 6 yards. And all of them buy. But because you are rich, you want to stand out, you want to look classy. Instead of buying that Ankara, you want to go and buy a lace that worth 150k. And you saw it, you went to the party. Everybody in that party, they are on uniform. You are the only one that is on lace. How will you look? Will you look odd or you look stand out?
Like uninvited.
Do you get? Are you guys getting that at all?
Yes, sir, we are getting it.
You're going to look uninvited. And you are putting on the most expensive clothes. That's what you are putting on. But you look like somebody that does not have money to buy the clothes that they chose. Of which the single clothes you are wearing will buy almost all the clothes of people that come to the party. That's the problem of standing out without fitting in. But let's take for instance that this person understands branding and he wants to stand out, but he wants to fit in. The person purchased that same Ankara of 4,000. Instead of giving that cloth to Yasilifa that is just going to cut it and just sew it, this person decided to look for the best fashion designer ever in Nigeria, and he asked them to sew a gorgeous looking style. By the time they see the style, would they think the person is uninvited? They will see it directly that no, this person is this person is different from this. You don't see your own clothes. They know iron and well. I see this one at top notch. You go in for to carry their bag.
VIP.
That is how to brand. You don't want to brand and just stand out. You'll be isolated. You look stupid. You've done a lot of work, but you're not fitting in. That is not branding. Branding is fitting in at the same time standing out. Lastly, branding is the reason why people choose you. When you see a lot of competitors out there, the only reason why they come to choose you is what? Is branding. You know, one of the reasons why I can't use what's it called? iPhone. I have a tab, and the tab is iPad, and I love its function. Very simple. My little daughter that is just 2 years plus can operate it perfectly. But I bet when they don't born now, she don't feel operate Samsung like that. But she can do that with iPhone. She can navigate her path, do anything she wants to do on that iPad without the assistance of what? Anybody. Though she does not know how to read, but she can identify logo. That's where logo comes to play. Make it simple. She does not understand the meaning of those logo, but she can identify YouTube. If you put down all logos in the world, she knows the app that she wants to open. If there's no YouTube there, she can identify Chrome. She know that, oh, out of all these things, if I click on this Chrome, this idiot will take me to YouTube. She's very sure. Because by the time she click on the Chrome, she's going to find YouTube logo there. What am I saying in essence? Is that I still cannot use it. Why? Because the way it's being strict, I can't cope with it. It's monopoly in a way. Everything that is going to work for it needs to come from the same day. Who get that time? When I want to collect sharp app from Ebro, and you are telling me that I should connect to this thing or upgrade my iOS before I can download this thing, bros, I'm not there for that wahala. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So you see the reason why I would choose to buy iPad for my daughter, even if I cannot use iPhone. Do you get where I'm coming from now? The reason why I buy them iPad, when I want to buy it, the guy was telling me that this thing is expensive, don't buy it. Is it not children? Buy this one for them. But I know Android can be difficult for them to operate, but iPad cannot. So it's not because it's expensive and I want to live large. No. And it's not because I don't have money, I want to live low. No. But because of their branding, because of what they stand for, that is why I choose them. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So that person that is targeting somebody that will be paying 2K, and that person that is targeting somebody that will pay millions, all of them are right. It's about what they stand for, and that's the reason why people will choose them. So branding is what? Is the reason why people choose you, reason why they buy from you, this is why they talk to you, this is why they call you in the first place. I hope we now understand that now. So, if I may ask now, are we all brand designer? Are we still in brand? Are we doing all of these things to clients? Hello?
No, sir.
Okay, no, you are not a brand designer.
Not at all, sir.
Mark is laughing right now. I'm very sure he has realized he's not a brand designer. So, now, I don't know of Gideon. Maybe you also want to be... Are you sure you are doing all of these things? We now
Halfway,
halfway, right? Okay, we don't want to be half.
yes, sir.
We don't want to be half. We just want to be either we are or we are not. But it's fine if we are not. Sincerely, it's fine If you are not, it's fine. Don't worry. But you want to be, and that's why you are here. This program is not for somebody who already be. Sincerely. I don't know what he wants to come and do here. If you are doing all of those things, it means you are just wasting time. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So, if you have not been doing that, now it is the time to start doing it. So, whenever you see a business that is not growing, a business that people find difficult to invest in it, that is what is lacking. They are not coherent. And I would like everybody to go and be watching Lions Den. You will be able to understand why people invest their money. It's not about how fluent you are. I was watching one of the program. The brother that was speaking, he happens to be a Muslim brother. He's a Muslim brother. Are you seeing it now? So that we're not going to be like, because of religion, you are biased or something. He's a Muslim. And from the way he was speaking, I was so irritated. And I'd be like, you not collect 1 naira from here today. See, can you see what I'm getting? What I'm saying? They don't care about all of those things are plus. But that is not what matters to people that want to buy from you. And to my surprise, all the old lions, they are contributing that, okay, you know what? I'll give you 45.5 million. Give 5 million, the 0.5 on it, give it to your friend that you give a shares that does not want to have a share. Give it to that person. The remaining one, let it what? Pay me back with equity. Another 2 people join together and be like, you know what? We're going to give you 40 million. And I was like, so it's not by fluent English. And I've seen somebody with suit and tie in that same program, speaking very fluently and delight, and they rubbish him before he even left. What am I saying in essence is that the problem of branding today is the fact that everybody that is into it, they don't communicate clearly. They don't know what they stand for. And if you can understand that, then you are good to go. What do you stand for? Why did you exist? All businesses must know that. They must know why they exist. When you know why you exist, you work towards that. It can take 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, 3 years before you start making that big amount of money you are looking for. But you will not still make that money if you don't do the necessary things. Don't boycott anything. Start the right way. So what's the right way? The right way for you to brand is for you to what? To understand what and what to put in place. And that's the reason why. So if you are into products, a lot of us now, when you talk, we say your brand can either be a product brand, or it is a service brand, or a choice brand. The way you are going to brand a product brand is different from the way you are going to do for a service brand, and it's different from a choice brand. You see, when you talk about product brand is quite easy to sell, unlike service brand or a choice brand. Why? Because it's simply a tangible thing. It is something you see physical. With packaging, you buy it. I've seen somebody that want to eat soap before because of the way they designed the nylon. The man already bites the soap thinking that it's something edible. Bros, you should not eat this one. No, it's not biscuits. Why? Because of the way they package it. I've seen my daughter, she has once pointed to dog food. Why? Because of the way they package the dog food. Do you get where I'm coming from? That's one thing about products. With a good packaging, you can sell them. Until people buy them, before they know that the quantity that is inside it is not really okay. And they will not want to near it next time. And if the quantity inside it are okay, then that brand is what? Is going to start making it with a good branding. So that's for products brand. But when it comes to service brand, it requires more attention. Because for you to sell a service brand, it has to be user-centric. And what is service brand? Service brand are those brands that we use occasionally. Something that you visit or you use occasionally is a service brand. For example, occasionally you visit the bank. occasionally you go to Spotify to go and listen to music, or Apple, or those places where you visit once in a while to get something done. You visit court once in a while. All of those things, they are service brand. But you see, when it comes to the sharing ratio, the larger percentage goes to service brand. Are we together now? The larger percentage goes to what? The service brand. And the product brand is just about 20% in the whole world. And when it comes to choice brand, is the least among all. But we need to understand the difference between the three if you want to work with them. So if you are working with a product brand, you want to what? Intensify the aesthetic. And if you are working with a service brand, you want to intensify the user-centric. I cited an example in one of our books that we are going to launch very soon, that we wrote for brand. This example was the example that we cited in the book. I hope I've not skipped it. This example here, when Virgin Atlantic, when they rebrand their, what's it called? Their boarding pass. Look at this boarding pass. Can we all see the boarding pass here?
Yes, sir.
Look at this one. And
Yes,
look
sir.
at
Can see
this
the
one.
boarding pass.
Which one do you think makes sense out of the two? Is it A or B? They are both boarding pass. This is airline 1, this is airline 2. Which one do you think makes sense?
The airline one makes sense, part.
Airline 1.
Do you know why airline 1 rebrand their own boarding pass to be like this?
Most likely for simplicity and for functionality.
For simplicity and functionality. Any other person? Well,
For easy usability.
For simplicity.
for easy usability, for simplicity. Good, thank you. Now, I will try to use that simple usability to explain to explain further. What do you think the customer consider to be simple?
Apparently something they can easily make use of without trying to burn a lot of calories, like with their brain. Something they can actually read and access without the need of going through stress.
Okay.
That's what they consider simplicity.
Okay, that follows. Another person?
I think
something they can get without stressing their brain.
Okay, any other person?
I'll say something that you can use without tight primary.
Okay. Now,
okay. There's also instruction on the.
okay, there is also
There's also an
instruction.
instruction on the pass.
Thank you. I think I love the fact that you are smart enough to see that instruction. From that instruction, what do you think the simplicity they are referring to is all about?
Usability.
Usability. Thank you. You know, if you are like me that never board a plane before, I've never been in airport before ever since my life. The first time I got to airport was the day I left Nigeria, and I've never been in plane since then. And I've never been to airport. So if you are like me, you might not know what board pass means until one day where you get one. Whenever they gave you board pass,
Like now, I'm like you.
whenever they decide to give you board pass, that useless paper is always too long. You want to fold it such that it can fit into your wallet or fit into your pocket without you losing any information. But when you look at this particular brand, when you look at this one here, you don't know where the important information lies. So you don't want to fold it because you are afraid maybe the barcode is not going to scan if it has been bent. And there's a lot of ads on it. You don't even know the one that is useful and the one that is not useful. This is one barcode. This is another one. But if you look at this one, they already help you to put your barcode in just one place. And they tell you that you can actually fold it. They know the way you fold your paper. And they even give you instruction on how to fold it. Very easy. This is user-centric. They focus on the way user work, the way they use their boarding pass. And these ones, they don't care. What matters to them is that, oh, this thing, otherwise you no go enter plane. And they market whatever they want to market, maybe for you to buy more from them. They do that. But this one, what matters to them is how that journey is going to be a seamless one for you. So by default, everybody get attracted to what? To the airline one instead of the airline two. And that is what you want to consider when you are branding for service-based brand. You need to focus on users centered. It has to be user centered. One day, I myself, I think it was a family shopping that very day, and myself, my wife, and my children, when we finished buying what we are buying in a particular store, we left the, what was it called? The shopping cart, the shopping trolley. We left it after taking our stuff. We left it in the car park and zoom off. And we now went to another store to buy something. But in that store, if you are going to carry their shopping trolley, you need to have a coin that is as small as £1. You need to have that. So that is the coin that you are going to use to unlock the trolley. If you want to get that coin back, if you don't say you want your money back, you guys take that trolley back to the place where you pick it from, because by the time you plug it back to where you pick it from, your one coin is going to come outside. Then you pick it and go back home. That is user-centered design. Do you get where I'm coming from? They've known that users, they will never bring the trolley back to the place where they, and we don't have money to employ people that will be picking trolley up and down in car parks. We want them to bring it back easily. We don't want them to feel like they are inconveniencing themselves. So we don't ask them to pay to use it. Don't worry. To unlock it, put a pan. You will see that they will bring it back. And by default, they will definitely bring it back. That is user-centered. They look into how the users behave. And they use this to design what their trolley should look like. Am I making sense now? So, that's it. And then, the other company look at it that users, they actually want something easy because they can be forgetful, but they don't want them to get to this place and not get a trolley. Don't worry, let's get people that will be picking this trolley for us. Do you get where I'm coming from now? And you know, those two companies, they design based on users. But the first one can easily tell you that they look into users' behavior very well. Nobody wants to lose their £1. That's about 2,000 naira. Who want to lose that? Especially blacks. We are never going to. And we are the one that usually leave the cats inside the car park most. So we want to take it back so that we can get our £1 and move on. So what am I saying, essence, is that whenever you are branding for a service-based company, you want to focus on users-centered. When you are branding for a product-based brand, you want to focus on what? On their products. Now, let's go to the third type. The third type of brand is the choice brand. The choice brand. Now, when it comes to choice brand, it's one of the most difficult brand to brand. So, when you are doing branding, choice brand is very difficult. Who can give me an example of a choice brand? If you know, who knows? You can guess. No right answer.
Like
no wrong one.
like Burger King and McDonald's.
Okay, Burger King, McDonald's, they said they are choice brand. Any other one? Any other one? All right. Now, maybe I should just open our eye to what they call choice brand. Choice brand is a brand that what you want to do is to select. You are not really benefiting anything from that brand directly. Instead, they are the one benefiting from you. However, you have the choice to select between them. It's your choice. Nobody is forcing you. It's whatever you think that you want to do. Do you understand that now? Those kind of brands are what we call choice brand. So who want to re-guess now? I'm very sure we must have known that it's not going to be McDonald's or
Apple.
KFC. Is that what?
Apple.
Apple. What happened to Apple?
Choice brand.
Is an example of first brand.
Coca-Cola and Pepsi.
For choice brand, I would say NGOs and political parties, because then these brands are based on your choice.
Exactly. You're not really benefiting anything from them directly. Do you get where I'm coming from? It's your choice to what? To contribute to any NGO that you like. Do you get where I'm coming from now? It's your choice to vote for any party that you like. It's not as if they are giving you any money. You know that they are all crazy. They all lie for us. Not only in Nigeria, anywhere in the world. Those guys are just lying, using our brain to play. They just want to make money. They are not here because of us. Somebody said they cannot hear me. Can any other person hear me clearly?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
Yes, we can hear you very well.
You might want to log out and log in back. Maybe it's your network. Thank you. So, that's a choice brand. When you want to focus, you want to do what? When you want to brand for a choice brand, number one thing that you need to understand and you need to think of is why people would choose this person. It's also user-centered. But at this point in time, you don't look at the behaviors. I want you to note what I'm saying. At this point in time, you don't look at what? Behavior. What you want to focus on is emotion. Are we there now? It is what? Emotion. Because when it comes to choice brand, people do what? They make decisions irrationally. They make decisions with emotion. They don't make decisions logically. All these things are very important for you to be able to save the money of your clients and do a better job for them. So, as long as it is a choice brand, you need to what? Know how to connect that brand to people's emotion. Let me give you a very good instance. You will agree with me, sometimes last year, when Tunde Onokoya, am I right with his surname, the chess in the slum, when he wants to raise money for his NGO, do you know what he did? He tapped into people's emotion by sacrificing, is it 72 hours? That was it 3 days or 2 days? How many hours does he use to play the chess? I forgot that. I don't know I'll be using that in this class, but I forgot. Who remember? Did anybody follow that incident that happened since
72.
72 hours, right? Thank you, Jessley. So, why do you think people want to pay? Not everybody understands chess, but this man did not sleep for 3 days because he want to help people in the slum. That is emotional blackmailing. They forget that he's also chasing that his name should be in the Guinness Book of Record. He says, I'm doing this for the what? For the poor ones. It's connecting to people's emotion. And you start seeing them donating $1, $2, $3, $4, and that's it. That's branding. It connects to their emotion, not their rational thoughts, not the way they think rationally. Now, yesterday, I think this one can be controversial because I know a lot of Nigerians here might later beat me, but don't worry, I'm safe. Y'all cannot touch me. So, I think was it 2023 that we vote the general election, if I remember, because I think I did that. So during the general election, everybody keeps shouting Obi, 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 Obi. But do you know that this same person was in PDP as a vice president candidate at some point, but you guys did not shout his name as like the way you shouted his name when he actually come out to contest for what the presidential position himself. What happened? He buy into you people emotion. So nobody is considering maybe experience or anything. They don't even want to go back to check the track record. They only focus on the good one that is telling them. You know, nobody cares about, oh, with the way this country looks like, I think we need bad guy to take care of the bad guys. So nobody is thinking like that because we are making that choice emotionally, not rationally. Because you've later seen a lot of people who support Obiden saying that, oh, this government actually know what they are doing. And you've seen a lot of people that support the government that they are saying, oh, they don't know what they are doing at all. Why? Because all of them make those decisions emotionally. It's not rational. So when you are branding for a choice brand, you are working for an NGO. You are working for a country or a state. Now, I think I want to mention something here. There are some brands that they are passive. For example, if you want to brand a country, you want to brand Nigeria. Nigeria is a place where people can choose for holiday, right? And other country. I was driving some days ago. Sorry, I think it's up to weeks now. And the person that I carried was telling me that this place that we are passing now, if they say we are in UK, will anybody believe? Because I can tell you, it's country road. And you get to see the same thing that we are going to see in our own rough Ajegunle is exactly what we are seeing there. But you never see all of these things on TV, especially our Yoruba actors or the Nollywood actors in general. They don't show us this part of this country. They only said the clean part of it for us, and we fall for it. That, oh, when you get there, and that was the first time I think when you get to London and you ask yourself, is it that same place that everybody wants to be? So look at this, how very dirty it is. What am I saying in essence is that they show you the beautiful part of those countries so that you get attracted to them. I get where I'm coming from, and you want to be there. That's country branding. They are selling into your emotion. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So when you see people doing contests about what's it called? Designing logo for Osun State, redesigning Osun State logo, redesigning Oyo State logo, and you see them doing 3D and the XD and the likes, I always just laugh and I'll be like, a lot of designers are shouting, oh, you're supposed to make it simple and the likes. I was like, no, this logo is not meant to be simple. At the same time, it's not meant to be complex. You must know what you want to sell to people. People want to come and buy the culture of this land if at all they want to come in. So there's a way you should be able to tell them based on the kind of contact that they are going to have with their brand touch points. So to cut the story short, when you are working with a choice brand, you want to focus on what can drive people to make positive decisions about that brand emotionally. So please, let's try as much as possible to note all of those things. So in summary, the three types of brands that we have the products brand. We take about 20% of the brands in the world, and aesthetically you can win in that particular area. And this is one thing I want to tell you. A lot of you always think that because of your good design, people will buy from you. The same way your client is also thinking because of their good products, they will be able to sell. Nobody is buying those things. I don't know if anybody get where I'm coming from. Nobody is buying those things. That's why nobody is asking you to be authentic as a business, as a brand. We are not asking you to be authentic because that is a default thing. And that's why in markets, if you are saying, oh, the solution to what? To 6 figure. What are we buying before? We are buying solutions. So if you are now telling us that this is a solution, there's something is wrong with your copy. Because it's the solution. If it is not solution, you not see me in front of you. I need solution, that's why I come. So all of these things need to be fixed when you are branding for businesses. So when a business is capitalizing on the quality of what they are doing, is the beginning of their downfall. Do you get where I'm coming from now? Because it's a default thing that you need to have. Now, let's take for instance, so that you know that you don't bank on the quality of what you are selling. You have to know what people are actually buying. For product, what are they buying? If I go to a supermarket now, I'm looking for a particular product and I cannot find that product. But somebody is telling me that these two products, they satisfy the same thing that I'm looking for. What will I use to select? I've not used the two before. Before they even tell me the price, what I'm going to use to select, you all know. And what's that? I'm asking now, so that I will know if I'm correct or wrong. What will I use to make decision now? Martin is saying something.
Of the packaging.
Exactly. The packaging. So, if the packaging is nice, good. That's what I want to use. That's the one I want to go for. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So, when you are selling a product and you are banking on quality, you're about to lose. Because if you say, this one might be funny, if you are selling dog food and you want people to buy the dog food, dog cannot come to market to buy food by themselves, right? And you be like, this dog food is quality. How will I know? I'm not a dog. You get where I'm coming from? And I have a dog that I want to buy this thing. How will I know that this is a quality food for a dog? Because I'm not one.
Maybe they expect you to test.
Are you getting this? And if I give it to my dog and my dog eats it, I don't know if he enjoy it or not. Do you get where I'm coming from now? As long as the dog eats it, I'll just keep on buying it. Either he likes it or not, I don't know. So, the only thing that brand is going to use to entice me okay, that is where your friends comes in. Okay, can I know that friend, please, Adala? Which friend is that? So
Adela could volunteer to be the friend.
Okay, so you see, all of those things are what you need to look into as a designer. And why do I really go in deep into those areas? Is because when people want to buy you, they are only looking for one thing. They have somebody before they meet you, and when they tell you, have a designer that is also good and his money is not also expensive, that person want to buy from you. They just want to hear that single thing that should make them drop their current designer and choose you. And that single thing can only be that one thing that they are looking for, but they don't know. We are going to be talking about that maybe when we are holding a sales class or something. But this is this about branding. And I hope everybody get this now. Now, let's now look at another thing here. Because branding alone, that you have all these things done. Somebody saying something.
I say you'd have just cheap it in small, sir.
Okay, yeah, we have a lot to cover. Absolutely, we are going to look into that deeply. I don't want to digress too much because I'm fond of that, digressing in class. But we are going to talk about that. And that's where I'm going now. You know, branding is not enough for a business.
I beg digress. We need that digression, I beg.
Okay, no problem. We look into that. Don't let us jump the gradient so that the ladder will not be difficult to climb. Do you get? So let's continue now. Branding is not enough now. You know, if you get all these things done accurately well, they might not convert to sales. And what is very much certain is that they are not going to convert to sales. And that's why if you have read this book written by Alan Peter, Logo That Last, in that book, the guy stated 10 things to consider if your logo is going to last or survive the test of time. Out of those 10 things that the guy listed, designers can only control 7 out of those 10. You see, the remaining 3 is telling you something. Number 1 is what? The marketing budget, the time, and the quality of the product. You see, those 3 things, they are yardstick for marketing. They are not yardstick for branding. Are we together? And
Yes, sir.
those three things I mentioned now, marketing budget, even the name already tell you what it is, time and quality of product, those three things, they are yardstick for marketing. But you see other things, they are yardstick for branding. Now, I said it at the beginning of the class that I designed a logo as low as 5,000. Why will I collect 5,000 from a client? I'll collect 5,000 naira from you when I understand that my logo is just going to end in your archive, and you probably design another one when they need it, or when it boils down on you that you also need a flyer and the flyer designer is asking for your logo, you will be searching for one. In a nutshell, the logo cannot fetch you the kind of value that will make me collect huge amount of money from you. Not because I did a bad job, but because you don't have what it takes to convert the value that logo represents into money. And I don't want you to do that, because in pricing, you see, a client can pay you anything that you want, as long as the value that they are going to get from that thing that you did for them is going to translate to double of what they pay you. Trust me, they will pay you. And that's one thing that you need to figure out before you pronounce a price. And one of the way in which I always do that when I get a serious client is that I convert my value into money. I dollarize it. Instead of you telling people that your brand will become relevant, they don't understand what does that do? Is that money? No, that's not money. But instead of them telling you that, if I do this branding for you, people will know your brand become relevant. All those things that you guys normally say. Instead of you telling that, it'd be like, if you are able to do this particular branding project the way you are supposed to do it, then I can only tell you that whatever you are spending on this thing is 10% of the sales that you are going to make. So if I'm charging you $20,000 now, that simply means that it's 10% of whatever that this thing is going to convert to. So that person is not worried about the 20,000 you call again. They are worrying about what is 10%, or if 10%, or if 10% of a particular amount is what $20,000, what's the 100%? That's the math that they are doing in their head. They are no longer about what you want to charge again. So the next question is how curious they are to know how that is going to happen. And you can only do that with your experience. Do you understand? That's the reason why we are having this class now, because I discover that a lot of business owners, they don't have what it takes for people to understand these things, how this thing is going to happen. But let's see. Let's take it one after the other. Now, if you look at this place now, we've talked about branding. What's the second thing that makes me reference Alan Peters' book, marketing? Marketing. You see, it's very easy for me to tell you the entire strategy of Fixacad. But one thing that I will not tell you is their tactics. Are you with me, guys? I don't want us to exceed the 2 hours.
Yes, sir. We are with you.
It's easy for me to tell you the entire strategy of Fixacad. But the only thing that I will not make a mistake to tell you is their tactics. And where does the tactics come to play? The tactics come to play in their marketing. Strategy is to play in where? In branding. Now let's break it down so that we get to see. You see, when it comes to branding, the foundation of branding that will make branding solidly well done and to maintain its consistency is strategy. So if anybody is doing branding and they don't have strategy, they are just wasting time. But you see, marketing is basically on tactics. So depending on how much you can do how much tactics that you have on ground, That's how much market that you can tap into. Are you getting where I'm coming from now? And that's why if you read one of the Fixacad captions when we are advertising this class, we said we are not doing the 2 weeks free class so that you can enroll for master class, because that's a strategy of what? Of selling a low ticket. So if I want to sell a low ticket, the strategy I'm going to use, that is the tactics, what people always call strategy in that case, is tactics. The tactics I'm going to use is different from the tactics I'm going to use if I want to sell you a product of hundreds of thousands. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So selling high tickets and low tickets, you can't use the same tactics. That's why we always say that marketing is sprint and branding is marathon. So if you run marathon the same way you are running sprint, you go lose. And if you run sprint the way you are running marathon, the same thing will happen. So we need these two things for business to succeed: branding and what? And marketing. But you see, the tactics that you want to come up with also depend on the strategy that you have on ground. I'm trying to let you see the importance of brand strategy now, because a lot of business will never take their time to do this. Instead, they are ready to pump money to get a good logo done and have a very nice mock-up that they will never make or bring to life. They spend money on those areas, but they don't have any strategy in place. And that's why a lot of you can testify to it. A lot of people that you've designed logo for, they have not started using it. You've not started seeing your logo out there, because if they're actually using your logo, then you should still be in business with them by designing their flyer on a weekly basis or monthly basis. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So if the company is not still patronizing you by creating their what? Assets, that is their marketing asset regularly, that means the company is, something is wrong somewhere, and what usually wrong is the strategy that is not in place. Do you get where I'm coming from? So designers not focusing on how a brand can have a solid strategy is the reason why we find it difficult to upsell clients. So for instance, when you design a logo for a particular company or a particular brand, and that is just it, it can only be that if and only that company has in-house designer, or that company, they hire somebody else handling their what? Their marketing collaterals. But if not, then you as a logo designer should be able to upsell that particular company, because if they design a logo and they are not using it on any marketing material, there's no how anybody is going to see the logo. So that is where brand strategy comes to play, because brand strategy is what is going to help you to link these two together: branding and marketing. So what link their two together is what? Is strategy. Now, there's no way you can now come up with a solid strategy for business, even if it is your own business, without asking the proper question. Are we together now? So you need to ask the right questions for you to uncover the solution that you are looking for. And when you are doing it, you have to look things holistically. What do I mean by looking at things holistically is that if I ask you now, I've seen a lot of questionnaires, and I think Fixacad has also produced a lot of questionnaires that people can download and use for their project. Questionnaires usually point to target audience. And the only thing I can tell you is that as a business, you're looking at, what's it called? you are looking at target audience instead of you to look at what? Stakeholders. Are you guys getting what I'm saying here now? Hello?
Yes, sir. We are getting it,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Hello, yeah.
So for you to get a solid strategy, you need to ask what? The proper question. Instead of you looking at target audience, you look at stakeholders. Because if you focus on target audience only, you might not be able to get to them. Do you get where I'm coming from? But if you focus on stakeholders, you are looking at everything holistically. What do I mean? Let me give you an instance. When you want to buy, there are some organization. You know, when you are working in an organization, you have Christians and you have Muslims. And sometimes, people at the top, they are not of the same religion as you. Now, maybe the people at the top, they are all Christians, and you are a Muslim working there. By the time the management comes together and they have their meeting, they said they want to buy something of fasting for the Muslims. And they pick the people, the board members, to go and look for what to buy for the Muslims. Are they Muslim? Can somebody respond? Are they all Muslims? Those people that want to go and buy those things that the Muslims need, are they Muslim?
No, sir.
Are they the one that need those things?
No, sir.
No.
But they are the one that want to make the market decision. And the company that is selling those things they want to sell, that they want to buy, that company is targeting Muslim. Now, the people that they've given the authority to go and buy now, they are not Muslims. So, if that company marketing is not appealing to those set of people that want to come and buy, they will never go to that company to buy. The ladies should understand this very well. You've been with your mom before, and she was thinking about the gift to wrap, to go and give to that lady that is doing wedding, that they bought her Ankara, and you are giving her suggestions. All those suggestions you are giving her, you are not the one that want to use the product, neither your mom. Do you get where I'm coming from? And that's why you have to look at things 100%, so that there are some people that they cannot use what you are selling. However, they are in position to recommend. Are you getting where I'm coming from now? They are not using it. What you are selling, they don't use, they don't have any problem, they don't have any need to buy it. It's either it is inferior for them, or it's too expensive for them, or they don't have need for it. However, they have people that have need for it. Those set of people, would they recommend your brand? They are part of the people you are looking into. And there are some people, they are not buying from you, they are not recommending anything from you, but for them to sell, they need to talk about you. What would those people say about you? You also have to look into that. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So if you factor them in, and you position the business, or your strategy is found on what will make them say positive things about you, when those people say positive things about you, when people get to hear it from them, they come to buy from you, or they get to recommend you. So, ability to look at target audience or markets in an holistic way is what we call stakeholder analysis. And we did that in the I think we look into that here. When we talk about the stakeholders, we divide them into three. That is, we divide the stakeholders into people that choose you, and those that says your idea is okay, they choose your idea. People who choose your idea, and people that says you are a good choice. These are the three categories. So if you look at these three people, those who chooses you, those who chooses your idea, and those who says you are a good choice. If you look at those three people, you already factor both media, both people that will not buy your product but they will recommend it, both people that will say, oh, I want to work for this company, and both people that will say, we want to buy from this company. You factored all of them in. So if you can analyze them very well, you now know what they want, where they are. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So this is what brand strategy want to look for you. Unlike the question you are just asking very fair, you are asking for a target audience and that's just it. No. You have to look at everything fully. Now, you need to ask questions that will convince you that this my client or this myself know what he or she is doing. They know what they stand for. They know what they want to do. And that can only be done using the brand pyramid. And we say that is the brand's soul and what? Sense. The sense and soul of a brand is determined by what their brand pyramid is all about. So if you look at this example of brand pyramid here now, you get to see that the mission of the brand, the belief and the values, the culture, the personality, the brand promise, and their unique idea. This is what you can use to define the sense and the soul of a brand. So in this workshop, every one of us, myself, you, we are all going to what? Pick a brand that we want to run a brand strategy workshop for. And at the end of the program, we'll come up with what? A complete brand strategy document. And when we say a complete brand strategy document, we are talking about this canvas. That is the brand strategy canvas. That is, the canvas is going to contain the brand construct pyramid. It's going to contain what? The stakeholder analysis. That is, identify the stakeholders of the brand, prioritize the stakeholders, then what? Discover the stakeholder stimuli, and you're also going to do benchmarking. It's going to consist of the positioning canvas and as well the brand ecosystem. So you also be able to create the customer persona, the customer journey, and create a brand touch point, which is the final things to consider. So at the end of the day, you are going to what? Be able to give this complete document and say, this is a strategy for this particular brand. Now, you don't have a choice. Normally, I'm supposed to give you a choice. And what is that choice? The choice is that now you have to choose. Do you want to run a strategy for a product brand? Or you want to run a strategy for a service brand? Or the strategy you want to run is for a choice brand? I should have given you this choice to choose one that you are going to work with in this class. But why I'm not going to give you that choice is simply because I want it to be your brand. You know your brand. You know what your brand stands for. You know what you want to gain with your brand. You know what your brand wants to become in future. We want to see that thing plain in a book now. You want to see it. I want to see it. You want to believe it. You want to understand it. So that means the exercise that we are going to be running together in this class is basically going to be on your brand. You are running a strategy workshop for your brand. And at the end of the day, once you are done with the brand strategy, then we come up with the first step in marketing your brand. What's that first step in marketing your brand? You need to write down your action plan. In the first 100 days after this brand strategy session, what and what do I want to do for this brand? What are the steps I want to take? And then we are going to monitor you for the 100 days and see what the result looks like. Because right now, if I tell you that come and pay for a class of 300,000, what is obvious is that you will not come to that class. And that's the kind of class that I want to sell to you. So your mindset needs to have gotten to the point whereby whatever you are going to get in a class of 300,000, you can convert that value to make 3 million. You can convert that value to make tens of millions. But now, if you pay for a class of 300,000, it's just a waste of money. Because what it takes for you to convert those values of that class to make money that will equivalent or justify that you pay 300,000 for a class, you don't have it yet. So we need to start from there. Do you get where I'm coming from now? And that's why you need to take this as your brand. So when you take it as your brand and you run the session absolutely correctly well for yourself, then you pick your action plan, because this is the same thing that every business does. The same thing that Fixacad does is the same thing that you also need to do. It's the same thing that any global brand out there, that's the same thing that they did. So you also want to do that. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So that's why I'm begging us to time block that 2 hours on a daily basis to 100% and maximally work on our brand. See yourself as a business. I was yesterday, some of those that commented brand under the post on on the Fixacad IG page, when they were writing their default message, I could see some statement like our, we, I. You see those crazy statements, you don't want to have it in your sales copy. Do you get where I'm coming from? Nobody is we, nobody is our, nobody is I. Nobody know all of those things. What people want to know is the brand, not we. Who is we? Who is our? Who is I? Nobody. Instead of those words, you have to replace them with your brand name. But we cannot work on those things if there is no solid strategy in place. Do you get that now? Instead of saying our brand strategy workshop, we are going to say Fixacad brand strategy workshop. So if I write a sales copy and you read Fixacad like 10 times inside it, the name of the brand is going to stick in your head. Instead of we, our, or I, it doesn't stick because those people never exist. You don't know them. Do you get where I'm coming from? So, but if I replace it with Fixacad and inside a statement, you read like 10 times Fixacad, that name is going to ring in your head. That's one of the way of making your brand memorable. We cannot do all of this work. We can't teach you all of these things if there is no strong foundations that can yield results in place. And that is what we want to achieve with this workshop. We've tried as much as possible. Fixacad has put together the entire resources that you need in order to carry out this program, which you are going to be seeing as we are using them. However, we might not give you that resources, but we are going to make sure that it's available for you to use in order for you to run your exercise and have your document with you. But if you want to have it to be your own personal things that you can be using for your client and the likes, we are going to talk about that. Maybe you have to visit our website to see if it's available for buying, but it's not available now. However, we are going to make it available for you to be able to run the strategy section for your brand completely. But for subsequent usage, you might need to purchase them and have them in your assets. And why do you need to? Take for instance that I'm coming to your company to come and run a brand strategy session for you, because one of the things that you're also going to learn here is how to sell this to company. A lot of designers don't know how to sell that. You know, I used to do something when I was a freelancer. If I want to talk to you before I even work with you, you have to book for 20,000 naira for you to have like a 1 hour conversation with me. So in that 1 hour conversation, I can tell you that, bro, you don't need to do any design. Just go and keep your money or do something else. That's what we want to have. That conversation, you're having it for free. If I don't know of anybody, I think I know of Mark. He usually have that conversation a lot and he get accolades from his clients. But accolades is not enough, though it's a good start. So, but what I'm saying in essence is, how do you sell the brand strategy workshop to clients and that they are going to pay you for it? Because you see a lot of motivational speakers who cannot do up to what you are doing. And just for 1 hour, 2 hours, just to come and talk to executive of a company, they get paid millions. It's because they are doing work that pixels cannot do. So, in order for you to be able to do that, we make it easier. you have to get a manual that tells you everything about what you want to do in the workshop, and that's it. This is just 60 pages. Then you have what? Your workshop outline. This is what enable you to be able to sell the workshop to the clients. Tell them what it entails, how many hours it's going to take, what are the sessions to cover. Then you have your presentation slide. Maybe you want to go and do it and you want to use a slide to present in their company where you have a lot of boards. Instead of you cramming your slides, you already have it here, you've mastered it, you know what is inside it, you know what is coming up next. Then it makes it easier for you to work on. Then you now have what? Your workbook. So this workbook is very easy for you to change this to your brand color and print it out. So when you print it out, you already know the numbers of people that will be in that meeting. So bind it, and when you are coming in, you hand it over to them one after the other. That's the workbook that you are going to use in today's workshop. They already know. It makes you stand out, and they are feeling it as what? As you are running the workshop. The same way you are also going to feel it. Okay, exercise 1 was under this exercise, you want to create the customer persona and the customer journey map. How do we do that? Number 1, give your customer a name. So Chioma Chidindu, write it down. What's the age range of that person? Okay, the age range is what? 28 to it's 28 years old. Okay, fine. What's his profession? He's a graphic designer. What's his pain point? It's a bit design, but they get job. Okay, fine. Right hand there. What's his motivation? He believes, say, if he get a good portfolio, he's going to land a good client. All right, fine. Put it down there. Okay, what's the preferred mode of communication of this person? That guy, if he die for Instagram, put it there, Instagram. So you've what? You've created a customer persona profile. You know the person you are looking for. You know where you are going to find the person. All right, I want you guys to go to the next stage. In the next stage, we are going to talk about how this person engage with how you discover this person. How will this person discover your page? How will this person engage with your page? How will this person purchase make his purchasing decision? And how will this person become a loyal client? These 4 things is what we want to discuss under this place. Just write it and fill it out. When you are done, we go to brand touch point. So, in a nutshell, this workbook will help you to collect all the details that you need. And you're going to see how we are going to use it in this class. Then, the last thing is the workshop canvas. You already make your clients to feel like they did everything. Are you getting it now? They already help you to respond to everything. So collect that response. When you collect the response, you now what? You now fill it inside the canvas. So inside the canvas, you have a page that extensively talk about each of the exercises that you ran with them in the workshop. So here now, you feel what their mission statement look like from the answers they give to you. What's their belief and value, their culture, their personality, their brand promise, and their unique idea. So once you put all of this down, go to the next page. Their stakeholders, help them to identify it, prioritize them, discover them. All of this, you already know what you are going to do to them. Positioning canvas. So all of this this is your own job. And you can as well do it together with them in the hall. And once you are done with that, this is the document you want to give to them as the As the deliverable for the session. So this deliverable, it has been mentioned under this outline. What and what you need to deliver to them. So workshop deliverables, brand construct pyramid, stakeholder map and engagement plan, benchmark and positioning framework, brand ecosystem map, customer persona journey map, brand touchpoint strategy. And this is the one for Fixacad. So we already have this, although you are going to find all of these ones. We cited this as example inside the actual manual. So you can see this is our brand pyramid. This is the Fixacad identify stakeholders. This is the stakeholder prioritization canvas. And you have you have the discovery of the stakeholder stimuli. Then you have the benchmark. So this benchmark here now is very important. Who are the 3 target audience that the 3 competitors you have in the industry? So IDEO, the future, Pentagram. So if you look at Fixacad very well, it's just around these 3 people. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So we'll talk about that when we get there. But this is the benchmark Canva for Fixacad. And this is the positioning Canva. Then you have what? The brand ecosystem map. Then this is the customer journey now. Who is that? Oh, Maria Daniel. What's her problem? She's an aspiring entrepreneur and a freelance designer. Okay, fine. What's what? The motivated what? Creative. Okay, she's a motivated creative. Now let's hear about her. You read about her story. What's her need? Her need is what? Practical education. She needs a community, affordable solution, and clarity. But if you are here with me right now, you are getting a practical education. So there's nothing that informs what we are doing currently now, other than what we have in our canvas. And the pain point and challenges that make all of us to be in this class now and keep on listening is what? Financial insecurity. We need to tackle these idiots and so on like that. So this is what you want to have. So this is the journey map of what? Of how they discover. Where did you guys meet us? Okay, most of people join from social media platform, and the engagement with the platform, the first service experience, and what? The transformation. So this is the Canva that you want to what? You want to deliver to your clients at the end of it. So at the end of the program, you want to have such a canvas. So from there, we can now start discussing the next step, and we start monitoring you. And I pray that God will make it a successful one. So by God's grace, in the next class, that is on Wednesday, that is where we are starting for. We start by what? Coming up with your brand sense and the soul. So it's already 7 o'clock, and I will take 1 or 2 questions if there's any before we call it a day. Any questions so far? All right. You owns the floor, Jessley.
All right, sir. Thank you very much for the training tonight. The question I want to ask is, you made while teaching, you made mention of so many brands analyzing like Very Dark Man, Tunde Eno. You made mention of many of those people, and I love the way you actually analyze their brand. And I want to ask, how were you able to do that? How did you train yourself to be able to analyze people to see the kind of brand that they represent?
I think we've answered that when you go back to the definition of branding. You see, the problem that makes us think that all these things are difficult is because we just read definition. We don't break definitions down to what definition is stating. Do you get where I'm coming from? So when we say branding, if you check online, you get a lot of sophisticated definition. But if you break it down to, okay, branding is what? Is one being true to themselves. Okay? You as a business owner, what exactly do you want to use this your brand for? Are you getting it now? So the person tell you that this is what I want to use this brand for, and you are sure, you need to have put a question, some questions in place to validate what that person is saying. And that's why if you're a good educator as a designer, we always say it that we should educate our clients and educate our clients. What a lot of us usually do is that we want to prove to our clients that we know a lot. Do you get where I'm coming from now? That's what we always do. We want to let them know that we have read a lot of books, we have gone to a lot of seminars. We are not really educating them. And the best way to educate them is to ask them questions until they get to the point where they realize that, so now rubbish that they talk. Because their response will make them realize that they're actually saying trash. And that's when they get educated. Not when you are telling them what they're supposed to say. Is when they what? When you force them to say what they're supposed to say. Those are the things that will help you to help them understand their brand. And you have to look around and see those things. Let me give you an instance. You see Apple phone. Do you see that it has a curved edge? Almost all their phones has a curved edge. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
Good. When you please, Mr. Ebron, help me to look at the chat section I think we have a lot of questions there. If you look at the phone edge is curved. Do you know where they get that curved edge from? Normally, Apple phones come in a straight edge like this because that is what exists. But the person that is in charge of it, that is Steve Jobs, the guy is just a crazy person that just want to do something different. And he was telling his friend that, why will you make it square? Can't you make it a curve? And they all say, it doesn't make sense. All phones does not come in curve. It's not going to make sense. And he held his hand and took him outside. Then he showed him the car door. And he shows this to him. Look at that car door. What makes it make sense? Is it by being a four corner? It's because it has a curved edge. And he said, come again with me. All the response that you need to validate the knowledge that you have already, they are in the nature. You are not just looking enough. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So, and one of ways in which you can get better in knowing those things is not to cram personality archetype. A lot of people will magician, hero, jester. They don't understand what they are saying. Those are archetypal mix, and they are like 13 in number. If you actually analyze them very well, they are 13. But a lot of people do not understand it. Instead of focusing on that, focus on a simple statement that you understand. That way, you'll be able to explain what you are saying to somebody and they will understand you. That's why I did not give you any ambiguous definition in this class. If you look at all of the definitions, they point to what you can relate to, and that is how you should also start thinking. If you can do that consecutively well, you are convinced with what you are saying, then you are going to get answer to your question. I hope that helps.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Before I go, let me digress into physics a bit so that you get my understanding very well. In physics, a lot of students hate physics because it's back to sender. That is, the teacher always teach the subject as a back to sender. They don't explain anything. The way they have it in the textbook, the same way they give it to the student, and the student does not understand. But if you make it interesting, by bringing those things that they have in the textbook to real life, you see that those students, they sabi book pass you. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So instead of you saying types of motion, you see how your fan they roll? Shey na the same way you dey move. If you ask your student like that, the same way your fan they move, is that the same way you also move? They'll tell you no. Are you getting where I'm coming from now? Oh yeah, tell me something that is moving like your ceiling fan. They will tell you the tire of a car. They will tell you the steering wheel. Some of them can even think and they, it's like the planet move like a fan. Instead of you giving them ambiguous definitions, let them understand it in a literal way before you qualify it with the actual name that they are calling it. So if somebody asks you now, what is branding? Instead of you trying to give them sophisticated definition that will make it look as if you have gone to Harvard, even if now that government school now you still there. Instead of that, just tell them branding is being truthful to yourself. When you are truthful to yourself, that is branding. Branding is when your information, when your message is coherent. Branding is when you stick to your promise. When you say all of those things, they understand it. Do you understand? You can now say all those things is called branding. That person will do a good job than telling them that branding is defined as the perception that people have about a business or product or services. That thing are jargons. It will not improve you. So whenever you are reading and you get all of those ambiguous statements, try to understand them in a simplified way. With that, you'll be able to see a lot of examples in the real life. So the second question, please. Okay, I'm checking the charts now. Okay, thank you. In a situation where the client is just about getting the deliverables and not all these stuffs, they feel like it's jargons. How do we go about it? Okay. If I get this question right, I'll reframe it like this. the client is expected, like they are expecting to see the whole of the things that they've written down. But now, they are now seeing just the canvas. Is that what you are trying to say? Instead of the whole of the things that they've written down, they are now seeing only the canvas. Who they think is the jargons. Is that what you are saying?
No, I don't think that's what it's trying to say. I understand what it is trying to say because I've been in the shows very well,
Okay,
so
let me
I can
understand,
relate it to
please.
what it's trying to say. So here's the thing: most clients nowadays, when they come to you, they make you understand. I need a service, but I don't have the time to go through with you with the whole process. Just get me what I want, and I'll pay you. So what he's trying to ask is, how do we get them in the process? How do we make them understand everything is has to do with the process that they have to go through with us, not just deliver to you the deliveries and then you pay me. That's because that's what happens most of the time. They tell you, I don't have the time to go through the whole thing with you. Just get it done and I'll pay you.
Okay. Is that what you are saying?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, yeah, it's related to that as well. And most of the time, they will just be like, "What's all these things that you're saying? Okay, which one is brand workshop? Which one is brand strategy? I just need a logo." Understand? They'll just want to tell you, "Okay, just give me a logo. How much will it take to just give me a logo? Leave all this brand strategy and the rest. How do you handle that?"
All right. Who wants to be my client?
Let me be your client.
I didn't plan for this because I have a lot on my table. I plan to finish this class 7 o'clock on dot. But because you've raised this question, I need a client.
Okay, look at your client, I beg.
Who wants to be my client? I think Teslim volunteered to be my client before. Do you want to step down for him?
Yeah?
Are you stepping down for him to be my client?
Let us do it. Let us do it. Let me step that for testing. Testing, we are going.
Okay. So Teslim, you are reaching out to me, my able clients this
Yeah.
evening.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, come in.
So okay. So here's the thing. Um I have a business I'm building up,
Okay.
definitely, but I've been able to do the necessary, which include finding a customer base. So now what I need is the visual identity of my business so as to make it easier for my clients. Let's say my target audience to be able to identify me amongst other competitors. So now I will need you to help me build a visual identity for my business.
All right. Adala is saying something. Do you want Adala wants to chip in something? I'm with you.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, sir. That's a nice one. But now you're coming from the perspective of a designer. Come from the perspective of a businessman that is selling, what do they call it? That is selling battery in one of these markets.
Do we agree
Come
that
from that perspective.
do we agree that Adala should be the customer?
Yeah.
Yes,
You should be the customer.
Adela should go up.
All right.
Yeah, you should go ahead with it.
Okay, Adala, you are the client now. That battery way you want to sell, can't sell off.
Okay.
Okay, I'm with you. All right.
Okay. Um I have a business and I'm into solar panels. I'm into solar panels. I sell solar panels and I need a logo for my business. That's why I'm coming to you, sir.
All right.
Yeah, I think we should ask.
Thank you so much for reaching out to Fixacad in order for your business to progress. If I hear you clearly, you said you own a solar panel business and you need a logo for it, right? Is that what I heard?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How long have you been doing the business?
This is my 5 years in the business, sir.
Okay. Okay. So if I hear you clearly now, you spent half a decade doing this business. Is that
Give or take, yes.
all right? That's. I'm very sure the business is doing well, and for you to have stayed with the business till this time, I want to be convinced that the business is doing well, right?
Definitely.
Good. Uh, if you get this logo done, how will it affect your business in terms of the income you are going to generate?
Income. How will the logo affect the income?
Yeah.
I just need something that I'll put out there, sir,
Okay. Why do you want to put something out there?
to just show people that okay, this is my business.
Okay. Are you saying that without the logo now, they don't know that solar panel is your business?
They know that solar panel is my business, but now I just need a logo. Like where my friend now he get business, he they do the same thing with me, but he get in logo and in logo fine. I just like the way it's in this. I just want to do my own. You get.
Okay. So if I can hear you clearly now, what you're saying is that because your friend has a fine logo, is getting more business than you. Is that what you say?
Something like that, yeah. But I feel with the place I am, I dey get more customers, but I don't really know about them. But I just like the way logo did.
Okay. So if I get you now, you need a logo, and you want the logo to be very good, and that was because your friend also owned a logo, and where you are now, you are currently making a sales even better than your friend. Is that what you mean?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Would you like to spend 500,000 on your logo and having zero
Ha
return?
ha ha ha
Can you hear me?
ha ha.
Can you hear me, please? Can you
Yes,
hear
I'm
me?
hearing you, but the price I'm not hearing.
Okay, okay, thank you. What I'm trying to say is this. You said you need a logo for your business because your friend has one, right? And if I hear
Yes,
you
sir.
well, you are actually doing well even without the logo. So what I'm saying is that
Apparently, yes.
if you pay 500,000 for the logo, for example, it's just an example, or if I may have, what can you pay for the logo?
It's just the logo, so I'm looking at maybe 10,000, 20,000.
Thank you. So that means okay, you're just looking for a logo like 10,000 or 20,000, right?
20,000. Yeah, at most. That's my budget. Yes.
Okay. Um so if you spend this 20,000 on the logo, how much do you think the logo is going to give you in return?
I'm not even expecting it. I just want it to just be there. Like I'm not even expecting it to bring anything for me. Waiting how the logo want to bring money for me. It's just going to show that this is my business. Maybe if I use it for letterhead or something.
Okay. And do you think it's wise for you to just spend money on something that is not going to yield any results to your business in terms of income?
Mm, not really, but there are some days that you lose and there are some days that you win. So
Okay. I'm afraid, Mr. Aldala, that with this 20,000, there are a couple of things you can do with this 20,000 in your business that can increase your income instead of wasting it on logo. Is this something you like to try?
so are you saying that the logo is not necessary or I'm just wasting my time like
Um, um, I'm not saying that, Mr. Aldala. I know you really want this logo, but Fixacad really wants your business to do better than the way it's doing now. If you can actually double your income from making, I don't know what the yearly income that you're making currently looks like, but if you can double it, is it something that you're going to like, or you just want to remain the way it is now?
yes, if I double it, that's a good one. Yes, definitely. That's what all business are after.
Okay, will you be happy to spend money on something that can make it double instead of spending on something that will just make it remain the same and has no value on it?
Yes, definitely.
You'll be happy to spend money on something that can make it double, right?
Of course.
Good. Okay. Currently, can you just tell me the estimated income that your business is generating currently? Like the amount you are making yearly now?
Okay, I think last year, by the end of last year, I think I saw um on an average of 10 to 20 million last year. Yeah, on an average of 10 to 20 million. So that's a good one.
Okay, so if I get it clearly now, you make up to 20 million last year, right?
Yes, sir.
And I'm very sure you are happy for us to do something that can double it to 40 million.
Hmm. Wow. That's a nice try. Yes, definitely.
Okay. Is this something you would like to give a trial?
You are sure I will make the 40 million if I go with this?
Uh, Mr. Abdallah,
I can hear you.
okay, thank you. Like I said, Fixacad is meant for you to double your sales. And if you do this, what we want you to do right now, if you make this decision to double your sales, um, that's one thing we can guarantee you. Instead of making a logo, if you do this one thing, then you can double your income. Is this something that you would like to do?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so if I hear you right, you are saying yes, you want the income to double to 40 million naira, right?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, how much are you willing to invest in this particular project that can make your income double to 40 million?
How much are you asking of that will make me 40 million?
Okay, you mean I should call you, I should give you a figure, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Normally, on a normal day, Mr. Abdallah, if we are going to do this for those who actually know what this thing looks like and how it works, we usually charge up to uh, 30 to 50 million in doing it. 30 to 50 million. But because you want to give us a try in doing it, we would like to hear what you can pay. But that's the threshold in which we charge.
Okay, that's that's a huge one as well. Okay, but I think I can maybe go for under a million.
Like how much, please?
Maybe between 300 to 500.
Okay, that's 300K to 500K, right? Is that what you say you can invest?
Yes.
Like I said, Mr. Aldala,
Yes.
this is a very good price that you've mentioned, and I must commend you because you never planned for this before. However, uh, based on what we charge, we charge within 30 million to 50 million in getting this done for clients. And I know that you never bargained for this before. So going within 300K to 500K is something very reasonable for a business to do. However, if you look at it, the 40 million is not just something that you're going to generate at once. It is something that will keep occurring. And not just that, it's going to be occurring only. With this solution, your client tends to trust you more and you tends to get more referral. I'll be happy to do this with you if you can go up a bit from what we have currently.
Just like you said, is unplanned for, and I have to also check my budget, and because like this, I've exceeded my budget times 100. So I think with that, that's what I can actually go for, and except maybe I can work up the numbers and maybe get back to you, but I think that's what I can play with right now.
Okay, Mr. Ebron, I think the best thing that I would suggest is if you can, if you need some time to look into the figure and see what you can actually invest other than this, I think it's going to be better because I believe you already have a business that can make this happen. And we can't wait for you to start doubling what you currently make. If I give you call, if I didn't see you your feedback within now and tomorrow, do you mind if I give you an email or give you a call for follow up?
Okay. I think an email will put it.
You said what?
An email an email might work, yeah.
Okay, so I should email you after 48 hours if I didn't hear anything from you, right?
Make it 72 hours. Let me just check it out.
Okay, is there any reason why you choose the 72 hours?
Just like I said, I'll need to check my sales margin and also calculate one or two things then before answering you. So I'll have to let me not rush into the decision within 48 hours.
Okay, is it possible for me to ask you one thing, Mr. Ardala?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I'm not asking you to make the decision now, but with the current situation and your experience so far in the business, like how much do you think you can increase this money to?
At most, I can increase it to 3 million.
Okay, 3 million. So are you saying that if you go back now to your drafting table, you can't go more than 3 million?
Yes.
Okay, that's a fair price. But what's stopping you from making this decision now?
I have to go over it and think about it then.
Okay.
Yes, it's a good one. You brought in a good suggestion, but this is my business you're also talking about, so
Yeah.
I'll also need to look into it, draw my schematics and the rest. So I'll know, okay, yes, if I'm actually putting this out, I'll just say, okay, yes, I'm putting this out, and I'm not going to be worried about it. I'll know, yes, this is what I'm getting, and this is what I'm putting in.
Um, you've really done well, and I can tell you categorically well. Even if I'm the one in your shoe, I will have to think this twice because dropping 3 million naira without me knowing if the solution is going to work or not is not a wise decision to make as a business person. And I know you might be afraid that dropping this particular amount of money is going to is going to weak your business, especially if you don't get results. Um, However, if you can do 4.7, if you can do 4.7, um, I'll be willing to take the risk with you, and we can guarantee you a solution if you can make the decision now. Is this something you like to do?
If I'm making a decision now, I'll do 4.
4 million. Okay. I think we can stop here now. I don't want to go further. But guys, do you see what happened? I can tell you categorically well that Mr. Aldala has forgot that we are actually playing a game here, and it has sound like what a customer is going to do. But if you see, you can see the way I was able to take him from 10,000 to 4 million. Are you getting where I'm coming from now? That's a very huge margin. It's a very huge one. From 10,000 to 4 million. If I have the time, I can keep on pushing him and I'll get him to a very high number other than that. Do you get where I'm coming from? So, that is what we call tactical empathy in negotiation. I'm coming, Krestek. I want to analyze this conversation so that everybody can benefit what I've done so far. If you look at what happened between myself and Mr. Aldala, I did not tell him that what he's looking for is wrong. I did not make it look as if I have more information than he does. I can, I didn't do any of that. I admit the fact that he needed a logo. But now, I'm trying to uncover the reason why he's so adamant on looking for a logo. But he does not want to tell me. So, and I need to what? To keep on asking questions. If you look at it, he did the most of the talking. I'm not the one. I just do the listening. So what I did is to what? Is to ask questions that will force him to give me more information. Initially, when he came, he doesn't tell me about his friend. But I was able to what? Uncover that he has a friend doing the same business with him. and he's coming to ask for that logo because that his friend also make a logo. That's a bad reason to come and do it. Do you get where I'm coming from? And I know subconsciously that Mr. Dala is thinking that that logo will make this friend sell better, but he does not want to tell me because he felt that if he should tell me, I can, because of that, to charge him high. Now, when he forced me to call my own price, you don't call price first. Let them call price first. Either you are negotiating salary or you are talking with a client. You don't ask them to what? You don't call price first. When he forced me to call a price, what do? I use anchor. I call what? Extreme numbers. Even if those extreme numbers are not what I'm willing to collect. Inside me, what I want to charge Mr. Dala is just 3 million. But I was able to let him negotiate himself. You can see, he was the one that called 300k to 500k. I'm not the one. Right? And I push him. He was the one that does what? That call, he does not even care about what the package looks like. Do you get where I'm coming from? What matters to him is the results that the package want to yield for him. And that's the answer to your question. Business people does not understand the branding jargons. What they understand is the monetary value that is going to give them. And that is what you need to understand about their business. That's why, if you have listened to some of my podcasts in the past, I said it. Whenever a client call you, give them 1 minute for them to just tell you the kind of business that they do. Cut the call and schedule it. When you cut the call and schedule it, what will happen? That time, you have used this to research their industry and the thing that they are doing. You've compared and have some information and details about their business. By the time they are calling you back, you are in the known. You'll be able to ask a valid questions. Those questions is what will push them to the point where they can pay you what you really want. They are result oriented. So know how to convert that value that you always shout. Convert it to monetary something. When you convert it to monetary value, they understand that faster. And they can make investment faster. Show you what. So that's that about that. And somebody caught me when I was doing empathy. Empathy is not sympathy. That's a mistake a lot of business people make, especially designers. Don't sympathize with your customers, but empathize with them. I was asking myself, what is stopping him from going above 3 million? What do? I started what? I put myself in his shoe. And I thought, this man might be thinking that if he paid this money, he's not going to get the result back. Are you getting this now? He might not get the result. That would be the reason why he's also. I now start what? Labeling it. And by the time we start labeling it, the logical mind of that person is no longer working. It's now emotional mind. He now felt that he's talking to somebody that understands him. He feel relaxed now. You see that mindset, I'm a difficult client that he comes with. That mind, by the time I start labeling his empathy, are you getting this now? That mindset starts dropping because he really come for me. Sincerely. That strong with a client mindset, he came with it. But when he gets to the point of empathy, what happened? He started feeling guilty. And that's why he was able to what? Come. And not one thing, when I want to call my own price for him, what did? I came with a number with decimal. That is psychology of figure. If I've called odd number, my money would have been more than 4 million. But because I called even number is the bad number you can ever call when you are doing pricing. So note that. And don't call a random number. Call what? A decimal number. It's very difficult to what? To divide. By that time, they can't think very well. What they will be worrying about is that cent that is behind the dollar. They are not really looking at the big figure again. What's that 50 cents doing behind it? They will think you actually did a very big calculation, but you did not do anything. It's a full class on its own. Negotiation. You have to know it. Are you getting it now? But those are the tools that we use in order for us to talk to clients, and they will realize that what we are suggesting to them is better than what they come to request. So I'll take the last question. Mr. Abdallah, I think that has answered your question, right? So don't look desperate. Don't look desperate. Talk in a DJ form. Listen to them. Ask questions, and you get them to buy whatever you want. We'll talk about that as we proceed. So, Mr. Martin.
All right, sir. I have a simple question, right? Because from the this negotiation that went on, when you tell a client that you can help, like the solution you provide can help him or her like multiply or double his yearly income or monthly income. This client, if it is somebody that thinks that is rational, that he can go into logic, is definitely going to ask you, how are you possibly going to do that? How will a simple logo multiply? Because he now he came for a logo, and his budget was 20. Now he's going to possibly ask you, how is a logo, a simple logo, going to do the marketing for me? How is he going to get me to double my income of 10 million naira?
Pause. Do you think he's thinking about logo again? What do I told him? I didn't tell him a logo. I didn't say I want to create a logo for him. I said, what if I help him with a solution based or another package that will fetch him this particular amount? Is this something he's going to be willing to do? I'm not telling him that the logo he wants is a bad thing. I'm just what? I'm saying it without saying it. So what the client want to ask me now, which is what you have raised now, is that what is that package? Can you tell me about the package? Then I'll tell him about this. I'll tell him what I intend to do. That's why in marketing, everything is chain. And you cannot, once you skip one of the chain, you will lose that sales. Before a client comes to talk to you, you have to ask yourself, I think we need to stick to Fixacad, what is it called? You can check Fixacad Instagram page. I think I personally, I think I'm the one that make that content talking about whenever you want to make a sales call, you must prepare what the outcome should look like. So if a client asks me that, okay, this is the package, what's the package? I already have what? The way I've listed the package on ground. Do you get that now? So, and I'll just table it out for that person. But I'm not ready to say it. I know you want you to say it.
I want you to say it. That's why I'm asking. I want you can no, why I asked this question is because recently I had somebody just jump into my DM from my status one day, and this person he said that he's an art director and he's been directing for over 10 years. Now I mentioned my price in dollar, and he was like, prove to me how your solution can get this done. And so even when I was mentioning, he said, no, you have to prove it to me and show me company that you have done it for. That was this thing. Now it was a big problem for me, because I don't know how. I'm trying to tell you what I do and how I do it, and you're saying, and you're analyzing it on your own direction, and then you're also giving me like that I should provide you companies that I work
Let me
with.
tell you what to
So
do in that case. Now you fuck up. You don't call price for clients because they will ask you to defend it. Do you get where I'm coming from? It's just like if a police should stop me now, we call it in negotiation, we call it do I remember what I think we call it easy something interrogation. I'll remember maybe in the next class or before I finish the explanation. What does that mean? If the police should stop me now and say, hello, mister, do you really, what's your speed? Like, they stop me on the road and they're asking me that, what's the speed in which I'm moving with? You see that question? If you tell them that this is the speed that you are moving with, you've put yourself in problem. You have to what? Use what they call mirror to respond to that question. Oh, I'm sorry, officer, can you tell me the speed you think I'm moving with? You direct that question back to the officer. But if you accidentally tell them that the speed you are going with, that will be a problem. Because they will now start asking you questions to justify what you say. But if you deflect that question back to them, then they are the one that now know what need to start guessing. By that time, if I say, oh, officer, you think I'm speeding too much, can you tell me the speed you think I'm going with? If the officer should now be stupid enough and tell me that, oh, you are moving above the speed limit, okay, 80 meters per second, how do you know that? Can you justify that? You see, that's the question that they are putting to you. They put the question to me, I deflect it back to them. I'm not the one asking them now. Do you get where I'm coming from now? How do you come with the figure? Do you measure it with something which they did not? But they just assume. And by that time, they start looking stupid already. So they can now go to something else. And when they go to something else, you also have to know how to deflect it. And they will ask you to be going. That's how you can't save yourself. So when a client asks you, what do you charge for this thing? Don't be too fast to what? To call number. This thing is a very deep topic. It's a course on its own. Sincerely. But one of the things that matters is that you must not be desperate. Do you get that? You have to be calm. Use your DJ for voice. When a client asks you to call price, ask them for their budget. When they are in, because they don't want to feel cheated. That's why they don't always call price. They have budget. So what do? You anchor them. Look for the minimum and the maximum and give them room that they can stay in between. By that time, you get them negotiating themselves. Do you get where I'm coming from? And whatever package you want to give to clients, you need to understand how it works. And don't be panicked that they might not want to pay for it. That's why you have to believe it before you sell it. Do you get where I'm coming from now? So, like now, if you state your package and the clients tell you that, how do you think that can bring me money? You can reflect it back that instead of you trying to defend it, you ask them, oh, why do you think it's not going to bring you money? Have you tried it before? Have you done this? Have you done that? You have to build your questioning skills. Don't worry. It's something that is going to come with time. Just get the right education. Does that help, Martin?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That that helps a lot.
So thank you so much for making it to today's class. By God's grace, on Wednesday we meet again, where we are going to start by looking into your brand strategy together as my own. And I believe that at the end of this program, everyone is going to be happy to make the change happen. Thank you once again. See you guys on Wednesday.